barged into the way in which Indian independence was shaping up, post-independence was shaping up, the way polity was shaping up. So single party rule for a long, long time. After some time, then a lot of tendencies started. So a lot of people started coming out of government, the regional aspirations started. The caste played a major role. A lot of caste which got bolted started pushing their own leaders, and they started forming caste-wise parties. They started making their presence felt. Then in the late 1970-80, we had the Mandal politics. Because of the Mandal agitation, a new era of politics came in. So that's how it got shaped up. Then we got into a coalition era of politics where different people joined together. It's an unstable era. Then later we had a coalition politics for 2 terms. Then BJP as a single player, possibly we can say as a single major party that is shaping our Indian polity now. So this is the breadth, we can say. From a system, we came down to different political parties where regional leaders started assessing that they are also important in the Indian system. Caste made a major way, regional aspirations made a major play. Then Mandal agitation brought in a lot of new leaders. Then the coalition era and the single party domination BJP era now. But generally when we say Indian politician, we all have a very negative tendency for an Indian politician. We always imagine a politician to be a bad guy. We always imagine a politician to be a criminal. If you look at the current Lok Sabha, if you look at it, the number of people who have a criminal case against them, if you look at how many people have a criminal case against them, at least half, 52% almost have got one or the other criminal case. The person who has got the highest number of criminal case is from the Indian National Congress Party and Idukki MP. Idukki MP has got the highest number of criminal case, which is 204 case against him. 204 case he has got. But actually, when you look very slowly, if you analyze all the 204 cases he has got against him, he's not a bad guy. Poor guy is not a bad guy, though he has got 204 cases against him. So in the month of February 2019, in one incident, 193 cases was booked against him for a Hartal. The Youth Congress called in Kerala against the court's mandate. The police booked against him as a co-accused in all districts of Kerala. So 193 case came from there. So 204 case against a single guy. So 52% have got one or the other case. So immediately all the newspapers will proclaim the parliament is bad. The parliament has got a lot of bad people inside. So one thing we have to understand in the past politics is whatever has happened till now is this politics was always a confrontational politics. That is how we got our independence. We always go to the street, we fight, and then the police will arrest us. The police will book a case against us. The police will send us to jail, and all those things happen. This happened to Mahatma Gandhi. This happened to every single person. The same confrontational style we see in the Indian politics now. People go, people fight in the street, people get arrested, the police book a case of mob violence, unlawful assembly, all those things. If you analyze the 52% of cases, 52% of people, what kind of cases they have, the most of the cases, if you analyze it, are pretty simple cases. In the sense, it is all agitational politics cases. Most of them are booked under sections 143, 147, unlawful assembly, trespassing. It's all political fight. But what is more worrying for me is 11 people have murder case against them. 11 people have murder case against them. 30 MPs in the current parliament have case in which they are accused against a woman. Woman is a victim, including 3 for rape, other for kidnapping. So 30 MPs are accused of doing something to a woman, and 11 people for murder, which is actually not bad. If you look at politics per se, because since I'm writing a book now for Bloomsbury, I personally went through the data of all the 543 MPs. I painstakingly went through their affidavit. I went through all their cases against them, why there is a case. So unlike the media narrative I've found, because of the nature of politics in India, most people have this confrontational style of politics. That's the way it is. Then the second thing we have is the criminalization of politics. The past politics, especially in the last 20, 30 years, is criminalization of politics. Some bandits have come in, some sharpshooters have come in, the bad fellows have come in, and they are sitting in parliament and they are the lawmakers. Again, if you care to slightly dig deeper into it, you will find in the states of Uttar Pradesh, in the states of Bihar, unlike Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, where most of the bad politicians seem to come, if you analyze most of their data, yes, of course, they are bad guys because they all have a lot of bad cases against them. But if you go by constituency, it's a very fascinating. If you take all the bad politicians, you just have to picture what they are doing. If you see it, I'm going to give you a name called Mukhtar Ansari. Mukhtar Ansari is a 5-time MLA from the eastern part of Uttar Pradesh from a constituency called Mau. So Mukhtar Ansari's brother Afzal Ansari is an MP from Ghazipur, and again from UP. They have their own party called QED, which is an alliance with Mayawati now. If you look at Mukhtar Ansari has got 40 cases against him. I'm just taking one politician to convey a statement. I'm not taking individual people, so-called bad politician. Now this Mukhtar Ansari, again, if you can to see very deeply, 40 cases including a murder. He has apparently is alleged to have murdered a sitting BJP MLA in 2005 in Ghazipur. So 10 years, last 10 years from 2009, he is in jail. 2 elections, he has sat inside jail, he has won. He didn't even come for campaigning. And the last election application was filed through fax. He went to the jail prisoner room. He filed his application by fax. And he won the election without even coming out. Now, it's very fascinating for me. I was trying to picture the so-called bad politician. Why do people vote for them? Why do people vote for them? If you see, predominantly, people vote for Bahubalis. In some parts of India, people want Bahubali, the big guy, because he is the guy who gets the job done. A bad politician is able to get the job done in the bad lands of UP and Bihar. He is able to take the phone, threaten a government fellow, hey, do this for me, else I'll kill you. He is able to go to that level and get a job done. So the Indian electorate is a very smart guy. Our voters are very, very smart. If we were not connected to them, they will throw out anybody. If even a bad guy is connected to them, they'll keep anybody. So the reason I felt for Mau people to keep Mukhtar Ansari for 5 terms is he's able to get the job done. The local government servants, government officials are able to work for the people because they fear somebody. They fear somebody. It is not that we can say that all government servants are great. All IAS and IPS officers are great and they are for the people, and politicians are bad and people will take care of us. We have to understand, a politician by his nature has got skin in the game. A politician is accountable to the people. Every 5 years, his day of judgment day has come. If he's not performing, you kick him out. If he's performing, you keep him in. A politician cannot just fake himself and continue in the seat of power. So my one theory for the past of Indian politics, if you see, there was a big governance wake-up. So many people were able to utilize the governance wake-up. In many of the places, the officers were not working. So these people took over. Yes, they are bad guys. Yes, they are not good guys. But democracy wanted them at that point of time where they're able to get the job done. So till now, the Indian politics, the single biggest definition for a politician is whether he is able to get the job done. And the second reason for seeing a lot of criminalization in politics, slowly from the past, I'm entering into the present now. A lot of criminals into politics. We say 52% of parliamentarians have one or the other case. A lot of legislative assemblies, I'm not even getting into it. So they all have one case against them. Though I said that they are very innocuous cases, we do not take those cases very seriously because they are confrontational political cases. If you look at that data also, now fighting elections have become very costly. Though the Election Commission of India says to become an MLA, the ceiling limit is 28 lakh rupee. If you spend more than 28 lakh rupee, we will disqualify you. You tell me the last guy who got disqualified for spending more than 28 lakhs. Who disqualifies him? Though in an election, we have so many IRS officers, so many IAS officers and observers and sitting, can we matter of fact agree that the MLA candidates are spending only 28 lakhs in India? Do we not call it a joke that people spend 28 lakhs? People spend money. You and me, the common man, probably aspirational, probably who want to make a difference, probably you and me can't spend 3 crore or 5 crore or 10 crore to fight elections because elections have become costly. By that very nature, the people who are fighting elections have become crore-patis. 82% of Indian parliament, the 17th Lok Sabha are crore-patis. 82% are crore-patis. Only 18% have their income less than a crore. That gives you a data about who fights an election now. So they are the people who are able to go there because the party cannot mobilize funds for you. The party looks at a candidate to mobilize funds. This is also a reason that a lot of technocrats are not able to go make a difference. When I look at the screen here, almost 90 of you, many of you, I understand you're technocrats. You all have a day job too. Some of you might be company, some of you might run a company, some of you might work for some company at senior level. But though you might have a lot of aspiration to join the nation and make it to go forward, Many of you cannot win elections because money is a big bottleneck. Your money cannot be spent. And who will spend your money? So the current generation in the last 1 decade or the last 3 Lok Sabha, the last 3 assembly elections, you see, the people who are entering into politics by their very nature, who are they entering into? Real estate builders. People have earned money in land transactions. People who have made money in business. They are the people who are your MLAs and my MLAs, who are your MPs and my MPs. They are the people who are entering because they're able to fight elections, stay with the party, and able to support the party. And many people are not able to spend money for themselves. They're able to give money for the party as well. That is the kind of politics we are seeing now. So this politics also, they are accountable to the people. And this guy also, they didn't just jump from the sky and they are just sitting there and they are trying to do things. But problem is now the voters are taken for granted. If you look at the voting percentage, maybe we can say in the first 40 years of Indian independence, people were not aware, so voting percentage was less. Now, almost if you look at a city like Bangalore, if you look at Bangalore has got 3 MP constituencies, Bangalore Central, Bangalore North, and Bangalore South. And Bangalore South literacy rate is 98.72. And Bangalore South's voting percentage is 49.41. Now, if you look at a direct correlation, a Bangalore city, probably the literacy highest in India. No other city might match Bangalore South in terms of literacy. The old Bangalore, they say, which consistently polls the lowest. The reason is so-called educated people. This is the first time in Indian democracy, especially in this decade, their level of political apathy is very high. They have so much apathy. Because they say, I'm not going to vote because my vote doesn't make a difference. End of the day, it is the same real estate guy or some other guy who is going to stand. I don't even care who is the candidate. People just don't give a damn about who is standing. So end of the day, who are the 49% of people who vote are my mates, my drivers, and the rickshawalas and the auto drivers, and the person who sells vegetable in the street, and the person who sells a tomato. Because for him, government matters. The ration card matters. And they are the people who consistently go vote for a candidate and come. So the reason for technocrats, Nandan Nilekani, the Infosys previous CEO, he stood in Bangalore South. He lost. If you see most of the technocrats who stand in elections, like Bombay, I've seen the ex-RBF chairperson stood for election. Every single technocrat have lost, including the great Suresh Prabhu, who is supposedly a reformer in national politics. He's not able to win his own election. Including the great Arun Jaitley, he lost his own election in Punjab in 2014. The reformers, the so-called great political leaders to whom you and me are connected, they are not able to win elections because they are not in touch with the so-called common man who consistently votes in every election. Our speeches are good for Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or Zoom or all those stuff, WebEx and all those stuff. But the real guy who votes, people are not speaking. So many people, they tell me, I am a political aspirant, I want to contest elections. The first thing I tell them is go and work in the grassroots. What are you doing sitting in an ivory tower? Your job is to go, put your head down, be in the grassroots. If you have a real aspiration, go there, put your head down, take a cause, fight for it, make it count, because people are very intelligent. They will only vote for a guy to whom they are seeing daily. Not in Twitter, not in Facebook, not in Instagram. No, they will not vote for them. Maybe the traction is so high because we all see the like-minded media that is getting circulated to us. This guys never win. The reason is the core voters, they are not in touch. So that is the current state of politics where we see, where even good guys, even guys who like you and me or other person who wants to make a difference, if he doesn't have grassroots connection, there is no way those guys can win because people still see who gets my job done. Who is that one guy I can go and get my job done? So politics at its core is very local. Politics never is global. Politics never will be global. Politics never was national. Politics never will be national. Politics at its core always is local. Politics is always about local issue. Unless a magic man like Narendra Modi ji comes, he is able to build a larger narrative. Then last two elections, I'm seeing people don't even know BJP's candidate. They just go vote and come. You ask him, to whom did you vote? I voted for Narendra Modi ji. Why did you vote? No, he's a very nationalist guy. He's a very strong guy. He's give that kind of governance. Because first time he's able to build a narrative that local doesn't matter, national matters. So those leaders are rare. You will not have those kind of leaders. So most of the elections are fought on local issues. That is why even if BJP is able to win nationally, immediately we will see the next assembly election, which comes 3 months later, BJP as a party might not be able to hold it because issue is again getting local. So local leaders are becoming a very rare commodity, like a dinosaur. Many local leaders have become. So the grooming is not happening. People are not getting connected. People are sitting in ivory towers. People are in AC rooms, and people just speak in a big mic thinking that people will vote for them. It doesn't happen. Even for the next 10 years, I don't see that happening because we have a lot of people in India to whom government matters. For you and me, government might not matter the way. For a common man, it matters. For him, the color of ration card makes a difference. Whether it's a blue color, it's a red color, it makes a difference because it determines whether he gets a rice or he doesn't get a rice. Whether he gets that subsidized kerosene or doesn't get a subsidized kerosene. Whether he gets a subsidized LPG or not, that matters. So that people we have to connect. So a lot of aspiring political people, I keep telling them, go back to your roots. Find a constituency and groom it. Groom it with all your heart and soul. Go to people. You see a common so-called bad politician. I've seen them n number of people in my life. In the last 10 years of policing career, I've seen n number of MLAs and n number of MPs. Many people have studied very carefully, very closely, just to see what is their leadership style. So one MLA I was asking, daily, how many people do you meet? An MLA I was asking, the current MLA of a district in Karnataka, is a minister now in the Karnataka government. I said, how many people do you meet? He said, I meet 200 people daily. He said, minimum 100 people come to my home in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. If you look at the issues I have to deal with them are simple issues. Some government tahsildar is not functioning, some sub-inspector not working, some fellow not giving a certificate. Every single thing I have to attend. If I'm not there, my wife will attend. So these are the issues. And there are some cases like my husband is ill, can you give me some money? Now somebody will ask my illegal things. My police have arrested my son. Can you talk to the police and release him? Because for police, he can be a criminal, but for me, it's a son. So a politician has to deal all of these local issues. If he doesn't deal, he loses the connection. So he cannot just come from the sky and say, vote for me. These are the kind of people, absolutely grounded, absolutely groomed. And people don't care about corruption. Frankly speaking, many mass leaders, you go and ask, but your leader is corrupt. They will say, who cares about corruption? People sitting in Bangalore and Chennai, you care about corruption. I only care about whether he gets the job done for me. For me, he gets the job done. I will not care about corruption. And many a times, if you look at some of the good books written about Indian elections, like Ruchi Sharma's book, he has written some fascinating books on Indian democracy. If you look at those books, he has done a lot of travel across the Indian heartland from UP, Bihar, and all those places. He has done extensive interviews on people who support Mayawati, people who support Mulayam Singh Yadav, people who support all those people. So if you look at their interview, it's very fascinating. People see Mayawati madam as an icon. People don't care about how many shoes she owns or how many purses she owns or how much money she makes. Because Mayawati gets her vote from a core group of SCs, that too also a community called Jatav community, G-A-T-A-V. Because only Jatav community SPs prefer Mayawati as their leader. When you talk to them, their connection to their leader is much different from a newspaper seeing of Mayawati or you and me seeing of Mayawati. A political leader is a leader because he's able to have that mass base. He's able to cater to that mass base. He's able to nurture that mass base. That is the current set of leaders we are doing. That is also the reason where any big guy, moment he loses touch with that mass base, he gets thrown away. A simple example I can give you. Manoj Sinha was the telecom minister in the Narendra Modi's first government, NDA first government, 2014 to 2019. People call him as a Vikas Purush. Vikas Purush, they call him. And he lost the Ghazipur election. To whom did he lose? He lost the Ghazipur election to our same guy, Mukhtar Guy's brother. Mukhtar Ansari's brother, Afzal Ansari, won the Ghazipur election against whom? A person like Manoj Sinha. Manoj Sinha in the previous cabinet was the telecom minister, the information broadcasting minister of state, and such a clean guy, a honest guy, not able to retain the constituency in the next election, 2019. Point is very simple. Nurturing the constituency, not happening. People don't vote for speeches. People look at what is really happening, then they vote. Now the future of politics. Now we are talking about the past, of the future. Yes, of course, the technocrats have got a role. I see after Corona, the people's anger will always be high. If you look at most pandemics, 1919 Spanish flu was a pandemic. Then probably we can look at Hong Kong flu, we can look at Ebola, we can look at a couple of pandemics that happened but did not cross a continent. The last 2 decades, we had about 3, 4, maybe we can call epidemic, but not a pandemic per se, but it was a continental effect. If you see, after a pandemic, most governments get voted out of power. That's a general trend we are seeing. The reason is people are very angry. And a lot of people are suffering economically. People have job loss, people have income loss, people business are doing well. So naturally, they show their anger on a government. Even if the government has done good work, people will still show their anger on a sitting government. I'll give you a simple example. I was a mess secretary. When I was a mess secretary, I remember the previous year did not do anything. I canvassed. When I become mess secretary, I will give you 1 egg, one week, 2 egg I will give you. This is about 18 years back. I'll give you 2 egg. I will give you chicken for 2 days. People thumping majority, I got elected. So next year, mess secretary, when I again stood for re-election, people are not happy with me. People said, no, Annamalai, we are not happy with you. I said, why? I am giving you 2 egg. I am giving you 2 chicken for 2 days. Why are you unhappy? They said, no, but you're not giving me 5 eggs. But you're not giving me 5 chicken. So people's expectation by nature will go up. So you cannot keep convincing person. By politics, by nature, people's expectation. Okay, Narendra Modi ji came with 303 seats. The next question they'll ask is, can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? The expectations will only keep going up. The benchmark is always high. The benchmark never comes down. So the future of politics, one thing I'm going to see is, post-corona, post this pandemic, the governments have to do extraordinarily well to survive. It is not an easy task. So technocrats have to be there to take policy measures, push it through, get it properly implemented, and make sure the fruits of the labor reach the common man. That is a tough task for a government. If you look at government of Tamil Nadu, where we are talking, if you look at government of Tamil Nadu, the budget is about 2.98 lakh crore. So we can keep it as a 3 lakh crore. So much hullabulla about task mark, including superstar Rajinikanth sir made a statement today. Lot of hullabulla about task mark. But task mark, we have to understand, it gives 28,000 crore revenue. 10% of government's revenue comes from task mark. But if you look at Tamil Nadu governments, if you look at the simple data, 3 lakh is what you are spending. Your revenue income is only 1.6 lakh. Only 1.6 lakh is your income you are getting from the revenue source, whatever the state is able to mobilize. Only that much. The remaining center is giving you, GST is coming, or taxation, finance commission, goal is giving. If you look at how much government of Tamil Nadu spends for salary of their own employee, the previous whatever money we have taken as a loan, we have to service that loan. If you see that, we are spending 1.64 lakh crore. You'll be very surprised. Out of 3 lakh crore budget, 1.64 lakh crore goes into servicing our loan and paying salary to the government side. So which means the government is running with another 1.3 lakh crore. That's it. So task mark has become a very critical source of income for the government. If you stop the task mark, the government is not in a position to pay even the government servant salary next month. The government doesn't run like you and me, where we have some 6 months saving or 1 year saving. Government runs on a day-to-day basis. Government doesn't have, because government always borrows. Tamil Nadu government this year is going to borrow 70,000 crore. Last year, Tamil Nadu government has borrowed 64,000 crore. So right or wrong, the state has become too dependent on alcohol revenue for the past 15 years. Now that needs a reimagination of politics. It needs a reimagination. The new guy who wants to get into politics cannot think like the old way. He has to understand, can I cut down my money that gets into unproductive resource? So much subsidy still we are giving. Why should I give that much subsidy? And you can simply see the government of Tamil Nadu has just raised the retirement age from 58 to 59 because they want to avoid 1 year's pension expense. Simple, because they don't have money. 58 has become 59. All over the world, the government servants' age is getting reduced. India is the only country where we keep increasing. Probably next year we'll increase it to 60. Next year also, I don't think government of Tamil Nadu is going to be financially better. So you can simply see, because we don't have a plan. We don't have a reimagination in politics. We simply start doing the old way of politics, start doing the same way of politics, and the candidates whom we select by the old model of getting things done. He's not a visionary. He can only get the local things done. He can get that local municipal problem done. He can solve the water problem, but he's not a visionary. He's not a technocrat to push it. Because a lawmaker, an MP or MLA by nature is a lawmaker. He has to be a visionary to push the government forward. But here the systemic problem has made the MLA and MP to be a local guy. We want him to solve the local problem. So look at the quality of questions we ask in the parliament. Do we have people of that quality to raise questions in the parliament? They're great people. They work for the constituency, but they're not supposed to do that work. That work is supposed to be done by a government servant. He is doing that work. Legally or illegally, he is doing it. So the future of politics is going to be people who can think bold, people who can think different, people who are fantastic communicators. It's not about thinking. You got to communicate it well through writing, through speaking. You got to communicate your vision to people. They have to be that breed. They have to be a little bit understanding technology, and they have to start reimagining every single thing. Why should we still run government buses? Is it a rule we should run government buses? Or why can't we give a pass to people and ask them to show the pass? The money gets credited to their account. They go in a private bus. Because all the government buses we are running inefficiently, which is incurring a heavy loss. 7,000 crore, 8,000 crore, KSRTC, government of Karnataka, 8,000 crore loss. But still we run bus. And we run schools inefficiently. Teachers, we pay 88,000, 90,000, 95,000 salary, and we are running inefficient schools. Can we find better ways of making that school productive, like what Delhi did to an extent? Hospitals. Can we run it efficiently? Should we have a primary PHC? Should we have a secondary? Should we have a tertiary? And can we strengthen the insurance mechanism? The insurance is so poor in a country like India, where you and me, if we don't take a private insurance, we are doomed. We are doomed. In all the great countries like America and Europe, where the insurance is given irrespective of your income. In India, we are not eligible to certain parts of the insurance, be it the prime ministers or chief ministers, rightly so, because government doesn't have money. Because we are well off. But well off people cannot pay 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh for a cancer treatment or for a heart thing. They cannot do, because a citizen needs to be guaranteed a certain thing in his life now. The medical needs, the education needs. Like Britain, education is free. Health is free. Because you're paying your taxes. So much tax you pay. Nothing is free. Nothing is free. Petrol, 69% tax. Because I am not blaming the government here. I'm only saying the government is caught in a trap. Poor government is caught in a trap where the money is, they are severely constrained. They're severely constrained. That the thing they do is they start raising the indirect taxation. Cess, VAT, everything they start doing. So a citizen, how much can he keep paying? The 4% of people who pay the tax, how much they keep paying? How much they keep paying? You keep raising the tax on them again and again and again, their back will get broken. Now the government has to start reimagining the taxation now. Because the post corona, you will start complaining because you are not more the same guy who will start paying tax without any complaints. You will start questioning, why should I pay so much tax? So petrols are so costly, but I am not earning the same money. Why will I put 7 rupees extra to fill my tank after corona when I am not getting a rise in my office, when I am not getting the bonus in my office? Because we have found inefficient ways of running the government. And I always believe the politicians has to be much superior than the IAS and IPS officers. That is the way the system is designed. The system is designed because the politicians have to be much smarter than the officers. If they're not smarter, then it doesn't work like that. The ministers have to be much smarter. The ministers have to have a very thorough idea of their subject. A transport minister has to really understand what is the transportation that is happening across the world. Now, Elon Musk is talking about tunnel. Elon Musk is talking about this. Do we really have an idea what Elon Musk is talking? We are still thinking of buying more buses, creating the pollution, doing all sorts of things. So they're not technocrats. They don't have an idea, but they're fantastic grassroots leaders. We cannot go and defeat them in elections. So the next people, like anybody who's watching this in Facebook, anybody who's watching this in Zoom, if you're having a real political aspiration, you have to be very sure, go work in the roots, grassroots. 2 years, 3 years, people will see you. Keep communicating, keep talking, keep selling your vision. One fine day you will get elected. That's a guarantee. The first election you might lose. That's okay. That's okay. That's part of life. Everybody cannot win every election. But 100% take my word, if you put your head down and work in a constituency, people will identify you and give you a chance. That is the only way to make a difference in Indian politics. If somebody parachutes you from the top, you might not even survive. How long will you survive parachuting from the top? So our youths are so impatient now, so impatient. Nobody wants to work in the grassroots. How many areas to make a difference? Sanitation, agriculture, health, a lot of areas to go make a difference. They have to form a team, start an NGO, start a foundation, go there, grassroots and work. At the same time, be associated to a political party where they think ideologically they're okay with them. Because the country cannot prosper if there are some 4 or 5 good leaders sitting at the top. The country can only prosper when every panchayat, every MLA, every MP is flooded. You'll be very surprised. We have 3 million. We have 3 million elected leaders in the panchayat. 3 million, 30 lakh. But we have only close to about 7,000 MLAs and MPs. So many people. People can make a difference anywhere they want to go. From a Jilla Panchayat to a chairman of a municipality. A lot of places they can make a difference. But only thing is, they should have the capacity to win. And this guy should reimagine future. They should be technocrats. They should be fearless. They should put their heads down and work in a rural area. Then they will win. So that is why if you look at the very advanced polity, like if I take Barack Obama as an example, people are very grassroots organizer. People who are very successful politicians, from the grassroots they came up. Nobody came from the top. Somebody's son. Even George Bush has to earn his color, though his father is a big guy. But he has to again come from the grassroots. So that is the future I see. If people don't do this, forget about winning elections, forget about changing politics, forget about creating an impact in the Indian politics. It doesn't happen that way. So be prepared to understand how elections function. Criminal politicians are not criminals. People actually wanted them. You and me don't want them, but their people want them because they're able to get the job done. For you and me, they're criminals. For all the newspaper editors, they're criminals. But end of the day, they are not criminals for the people who elect them. Now, how will you go and beat them at their own game? So you got to go there and work in the grassroots and perform much better than them. People still vote on caste. Caste is a big factor, whether we like it or not. There are many, many constituents in India. If you don't put the right candidate with the right caste, he will not win. 100% he will not. So caste matters. Maybe it will take some more time, but people still have an affinity towards their caste leaders. So that is something which you and me cannot have a magic wand and say, go caste, go, go caste, go, go caste, go. It doesn't happen. In a state like Tamil Nadu also, if somebody is reimagining politics away from the dravidian way of functioning, people have to put their hard work down. The hard work has to happen in the ground. The hard work cannot happen in the mic and putting a tweet and putting a Facebook and saying this politics has to change, that politics has to change. I am not saying people who do hard work in the ground. There are n number of alternate people, Kamala Hassan ji, Rajinikanth ji, BJP, lot of political parties like Nam Tamil Iyakam. There are n number of political parties. People all say we want to have an alternate Tamil Nadu, but I am not seeing anybody working in the ground. How will alternate come? Everybody talks in the mic, everybody talks, but end of the day, they have to have winning candidate. Dravidian party is able to win because in a party like DMK, they're able to have 17 lakh DMK cadres who have a position in the party. 17 lakh people from Chennai right down to a village. 17 lakh people have got some position. He's associated with the party, has got an ID card. Tomorrow something happens, he'll go to the street and fight. When his party leaders calls for a dharna, he will wear that black shirt, come and stand. So how can you go and beat them if you want to have alternate politics without even creating the base and structure? The same thing is with the ADMK also. For a long time, people are able to build their base. Their tentacles are so deep, the roots are so deep. How can a party can think about changing them in Tamil Nadu without even doing the hard work? People just doesn't vote. They all have committed votes. Tamil Nadu is a state with the highest number of committed votes. Research says close to about 80% people here have already decided which party they want to vote. Either on caste line, either on religion line, either on ideological line. Unlike other states, if you look at all the CSDS survey, Lokniti survey, if you look at all the research documents, if you look at all their exit poll questionnaires, people have already decided to whom I'm going to vote. For a new guy to come and make difference, it's hell of a job. Just by speech, he cannot create an impact. For a new guy, it's very, very tough because you are fighting against two parties that is the model for Indian politics. The Dravidian politics, the DMK and the ADMK are the model for the other political parties in India because these parties are so systematic, they are so institutionalized, right down to a village, they have a person sitting there taking care of that. When elections come, all these people right down to a voter sheet, they know to which area he is in charge. How will people fight? Only by speaking, only by tweeting, only by commenting, only by fighting in the studio channels in the AC room. How can you bring political change in a state like Tamil Nadu? Tamil Nadu is a different ball game. So if you want to reimagine, either now DMK of course is trying to reimagine themselves. ADMK of course is trying to reimagine themselves. They are also trying to inculcate better cadres into them. Their IT secretary has studied from Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. The ADMK IT secretary, the head of the IT cell is a good friend of mine. The PTR who heads the IT cell, he is some big banker. People have got good people inside. It is not that every party has got bad. So if you have to fight ideology, you have to fight with ideology is one. And second, you got to do that grassroots work. So I am also an aspiring politician. I'll be contesting very soon in Tamil Nadu elections. I have my own idea about how Tamil Nadu election should go. What should be the future of Tamil Nadu? Tamil Nadu cannot be a drunken state anymore. It cannot be dependent on task anymore. I don't want to see 600 people standing outside a task queue and jumping over each other and dancing and blasting crackers just to say that it's hell of a job when people are dying in Corona. And the government is also caught in a very tight place where it is sorely dependent on task revenue. I feel pity for the government. I'm not blaming the government. Maybe you and me sit as chief ministers also. Right now, the chief minister's headache is to think about making that extra money to pay the salary. Criticizing a chief minister is easy. But at the same time, it's like a chicken or egg question. In English, we use a term called Hobson's choice. Hobson's choice is a term where you know it is wrong, but you can't go out of that. Like sitting on a tiger and holding its tail. So because we don't have people who can reimagine. Still, the politics is officer dependent. 98% of political work happens because some IAS guy, some IPS guy who's sitting there is doing it. Yes, I have a lot of respect for IAS and IPS because I come from the similar service. But end of the day, I like people who have skin in the game. You should have skin in the game. You are accountable to the people. You are responsible. You make a mistake, people should throw you out. So a politician is that. He is exactly that skin in the game guy. So meaning a politician has to be much superior to an officer. Only then you can talk to an officer, collaborate with an officer, sell your vision, and then you can make him to win elections for you. It doesn't happen that way. How does it happen? So sorry, I think you have given me a time, but I've exceeded my time. I've spoken much. Though I think that I'm sure there are a lot of interesting questions which I can answer. But this is the way the present and the future is all about. People will vote for the right guy. I firmly believe people will not vote for the wrong guy. The Indian election guy is a very smart guy. The Indian voter is one of the smartest in the world. We think he's a fool at our own cost. I'll tell you the Orissa elections. Last time when the Orissa elections happened, Naveen Patnaik ji was not in alliance with the BJP. Last time when it happened. So same day, the assembly elections and the Lok Sabha elections were happening. A poor farmer from Kalandi, who's in a distant part of Orissa, where people die of hunger and starvation, a poor farmer, same day in 2 EVM machines, he has to vote. One, he has to vote for his chief minister. Other, he has to vote for his prime minister. See how is he thinking. There, they voted for the prime minister, Mr. Narendra Modi ji, thinking he'll give me good governance. The same farmer voted for Nitish Kumar, voted for Naveen Patnaik ji in another EVM machine, thinking he will give me good governance. See his intelligence. He is able to see who gives me a better governance in the state. I'm talking of 2014. Who gives me a better governance in the center? Can we take him for granted? Can we think he's a fool? The same in parts of Eastern UP, the so-called the Badlands of India, the parts of Bihar, where people know because they get their job done. He doesn't mind 80 cases, 100 cases, 150 cases. Just doesn't mind. Because for him, job has to happen. That guy will take a phone, threaten somebody and make sure water comes to my house. And just to end it, nothing is lost. If you look at Tamil Nadu, if you rewind back about 4 decades back, we had the great Kamarajar with us. Great Kamarajar. Never went to school, never a technocrat. But the kind of thing that happened in Kamarajar's period, Tamil Nadu has got the highest number of irrigated area. Every single irrigated area in Tamil Nadu, because of the dam construction that happened, is only during Kamarajar's era. That guy wouldn't understand anything, did not even go to a school when rains came. He did the greatest administration possible for Tamil Nadu. Simple life. Kamarajar's deputy, Jiva, and if you look at the other ministers who are with him, how were they? There were some ministers who had only 2 dhoti. There is a famous story which Mr. Nellekanan keeps talking, where one of Kamarajar's ministers had only two dhoti with them. So one day Kamarajar called him. He said, come, we have to go for a meeting. Kamarajar's car is standing outside an ambassador. This guy minister did not even come. So when Kamarajar sent somebody inside to see why is he not coming, he said, no, I have 2 dhoti. One dhoti is dirty. The other dhoti, I've washed it, I've put it in the sun. It is getting dry. Give me 5 minutes. Once it gets dry, I will wear my dhoti and come. Those were the leaders. They were clean like a crystal, transparent like a mirror, like a water. And the whole life was dedicated for the people. So Tamil Nadu, nothing is lost. We had that kind of leaders, amazing leaders. Even we had some of the greatest administrators, Jayalalitha, Karnanati, all are great. Madam Jayalalitha did wonderful work because they did social justice. Karnanati himself in his time, if you look at Karnanati ji also, amazing work they did. We can blame in terms of ideology. This is not good. But if you look at a holistic way, people have taken Tamil Nadu to where it is. Tamil Nadu was one of a pioneering state. If you look 10 years back, where was Tamil Nadu? Amazing state. Some of the best brains came here. This institution produced some of the finest minds. Most of the IAS, IPS officers in Delhi were flooded from Tamils, ex-Tamils. All people are there. But somehow we have lost direction in the last decade or so. It has become a drunkard state and people don't have the same clarity. A lot of freebies. Everything is free. Our rice is free, mixie is free, grinder is free, what not is free. Only the wife is not free, the husband is not free. Everything is free in this state. How will this person put his mind and do the hard work? Any society where it loses the premium on hard work, that society will die. We have seen the Maoist revolution in China, what they call the Great Revolution, the Cultural Revolution. If you don't make people to put a premium on hard work, that society will die. So Tamil Nadu, the only fear I see now is people don't want to do hard work. People are not interested in hard work. People just say that everything is coming for free. Why should I do hard work? Then how will that society be? They are the people who need to work for others. They are the people who are the nation builders. That is why we see the migration pattern. Last 15 days, it's very sorry sight to see. Migration guys, they don't even have a penny in hand. They don't even have. Today, no job, no money. They just have to walk. Though the government is doing its best by arranging trains and buses, a government is limited by doing it. How long can government do it? Maximum buses, and every person has to be tested. Every person has to do it. But we have brought them to a sorry state. They don't have a social security. We have to appreciate the current government at the center for creating the social safety base. First time people have an account. First time people have some money getting transmitted to their account. First time people see money in their account. It's okay. They're like doing great things. But no government can do 100%. Society also has to do. I feel very sorry. People walk. I saw a small girl walking from Delhi to Agra, crying with her father and mother just because they don't have next day's money. 8-year-old girl, how can she walk? Because somehow, historically, we never had a social security base. Insurance is not granted, education is not granted, nothing is taken for granted. You just live your life, you keep paying your tax. One fine day you die, and then even for electric crematorium, you have to stand in the queue and get a pass. Even electric crematorium is not free. Even when you die, it's not free. And nowadays in places like Chennai, there is a very big fight to secure your coffin place also. There is no land for you. I think all of us have to go to the electric crematorium, get burned and ash and get immersed in some holy river. Now you have to rethink the leaders we elect. They should have vision. I remember when I was in Germany in 2018, we had an opportunity to talk to some politician. So in the training, there was a politician. The things he was talking is very futuristic. He was talking about 2018, I'm talking in the month of July, in a place called Munich in southern part of Germany. He was talking about how do we enable driverless cars. I remember if you look at the highway from Munich to Berlin, the A6 highway, the 600-kilometer highway, German people to do testing there. Driverless car testing, Google was testing, a lot of people are testing. And they were talking about data encryption, they're talking about protecting your data. That is what a parliamentarian should do. Parliamentarian job should not be to call a sub-inspector or an inspector or a tahsildar, asking them to do certificates and do something. Parliament has to be a visionary, he has to be a law maker. But I'm not blaming the parliamentarian, because the system is so bad at the bottom. Officers are not working, there are a lot of vacancy. Police itself is operating with 30% vacancy. 30% vacancy for constables. How long can they keep doing it? How long can they keep doing it? So much vacancy. Everywhere there is a vacancy. Some person holding additional charge of some post. How long can we keep expecting a government servant to work? They will also break. Because country of 130 crore people, it's a big country, so many problems, so many language, so much religion, so much dialect. Everybody speaks anything they want. So all those things have to change. I think freebies culture has to change. That's painful. Tomorrow morning, we cannot stop freebie. The government should have a vision, 5 years. Slowly, I'll control. I'll start empowering those guys. Like Chinese model. Let me teach him how to catch a fish. Why should I keep giving him fish every day? But other thing is also, we have so-called leaders now. They have become so impractical. Of course, their principle is so good. But what is the purpose of having an impractical guy? A leader should have a practicality as well as principality. Tomorrow morning, we cannot stop corruption. It's a 5-year, 10-year, 15-year it will take. Tomorrow morning, we cannot change anybody's life. It will take 5-year, 10-year plan. Slowly, people have to work towards it. So practicality is also needed along with principality. So that is the next problem we have with the youth leaders now. They are so principled, but impractical. Or either they are fully practical, but zero principle, like the previous politician. So we need two. You need the principle as well as practicality. Only that will make a good leader. Karnanati, Anna, Jayalalitha, Kamaraja, they had that both in ample measure, principality as well as practicality. I'm not making any comment on the current CM also, because sitting in the CM's chair itself is very tough. So very tough. So we need that kind of empowered people to go get into politics in huge numbers, keep that churning. So thank you so much for listening to me. I think I've already spoken.
Thank you, sir. You've given us so much food for thought, from past to present to envisioning future. And there's so much you've covered, practical, principles, so on and so forth. We have a host of questions also. We'll moderate them and ask. Those who have raised your hands, please type your questions in the chat box. We will see if it meets the criteria, and then we will ask. There is a climax question, which I will come to in the end. But we'll start with this, sir. What do you think about cash for votes? Do you think we can stop this practice? Raghavan Murali is asking this question.
Okay, Raghavanji, for asking this question. I don't think cash for votes we are going to stop in this election, because people have got used to it and the political leaders have got used to it. And Tamil Nadu, unfortunately or fortunately, we have got into that zone now. So a lot of other states also started this cash for votes. Now, many people, how do they see a politician is, anyway, you don't do anything for me much. At least election time, you give me 5,000 rupees for my vote. That is the culture it has come. And when every candidate is almost the same nature, now candidate A is similar to candidate B, is similar to candidate C. Now people don't see any difference. People say, okay, all of you are same, at least give me some money. So people are also spoiled for choice. I am not seeing any good candidate in the fray. Many constituencies, young guy, but young guy has to be practical. He should have done some work to go and seek people's vote. So when people don't see that novelty, why will people vote for you? People will start taking money. So I think that culture has to stop. And it's easier said than done. It's a larger culture, and the mind it has to go, where people have to themselves believe my vote matters, my Neta matters, my MLA matters, because he's doing an important job in the assembly for me. He's an important lawmaker for me, because he's sacrificing his life, his personal time to do something good for me. So this thought is not happening, since most politicians have become corrupt now. People are like, anyway, you are making money for 5 years. Why can't you give me money for the election? Give me 5,000, give me 10,000. It has become like that. But at the same time, I know candidates, without giving money, they get votes. I will not name here for obvious reasons. In Tamil Nadu, people are there. In Karnataka, people are there, because their work speaks. So cash for votes, I will not apply to all the 234 constituencies. Yes, predominantly it's a problem. But many places, good guys, solid guys, they allow their work to speak for themselves, but I can count them with hands, I can count them with fingers, but they are very less in number. So don't feel demotivated. It's a matter of time. Churning has to happen. Churning will happen. The bad guys will go, the good guys will come. And the good guys have to be practical also, rooted also, grounded also. So that is why I said in the next 5 years, I don't see. So, but I see a future, maybe 10 years from now, the cash for votes should die. It has to die. It cannot live.
Thank you, sir. We have one Mr. Bhaiya Reddy, who's on Facebook, asking this question. Can Election Commission make it mandatory to have pre-election candidate debates, like in the US?
Okay, so US also, if you see, sir, it is not mandatory. It's a culture. So US also, it's not a mandatory. It was a culture started by some television channels to bring people together. But the culture is so strong, because the Democratic Party itself, before finding their nominee, they will have internal debate. So all the Democratic nominees will debate, Republican nominees will debate. Finally, the presidential candidates will debate. So that's a culture they have, sir. India, what happened? In Chennai, for example, most of you sit in Chennai and Bangalore. I know there are some apartments which has got 5,000 votes. There are some apartments which has got 5,000 votes, the Resident Welfare Association. Now in Corona, all the RWS are very strong. Don't allow your maid and don't allow your driver, blah, 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 blah. Now RWS have become very popular. Why can't the Resident Welfare Association tell the candidate, look, both of you come to our apartment complex, you debate in front of us. If you don't debate, we will not vote for you. All 5,000 will not vote for you. If you debate, all 5,000 will vote who is better or who is worst. So now people pressure has to come to bring this thing. People pressure has to come. So locally, I think Rotary clubs, Line clubs, if all those clubs join among yourself, if you can guarantee some 10,000 votes, any politician will come You call for a debate at night, 2 o'clock, they'll come to your home and debate because 10,000 votes matter. So, but you are not joining together. You are being like individual voters. So your votes are not being counted much. I think after Corona, I see a future where the RWS will get bit stronger. Chennai apartments and all, you will all will join together. The associations will join together, the merchant associations, the vegetable associations, because right now they're joining because of Corona to fight for the cause. And you have to conduct debates. The politicians naturally will say individually we can't debate. Together we'll do one debate. All of you watch in Instagram. Now we are doing Zoom. Why can't the politicians talk in Zoom? Why can't the politicians sit at home, talk in Zoom where all of us can switch on our laptop and this thing, and why can't we see it? So I see our culture will come, sir. I think Corona, right or wrong, will bring that culture. Election Commission mandating might be tough. What happened? Our constitution, the Article 19 is a very, very, very powerful article we have. The freedom of speech. The freedom of speech means I cannot compel somebody to speak. Our constitution is so strong. I cannot say, Mr. Sudarshan, can you talk for 5 minutes? Sudarshan will say, my freedom of speech, I will not talk. Freedom of speech means the freedom not to talk also. So maybe forcing somebody to talk might go against the constitutional values, but you got to make sure if people don't speak, you should not give your vote. Your vote is not for sale. Your vote is a very important vote. It doesn't have a value to it. So make your vote count. Make people to come talk to you and make them to give them a list of promises which they will keep. After 5 years, you make them accountable. Hello, sir. Hello, madam. You have given me this points. What have you done? You haven't done. So my vote is not for you. So you have to get that culture in. So 5-10 years, it will come, sir. It's a matter of time.
Next, there's an interesting question again from Venkatraman L. Can we make voting compulsory? Can there be an organized, organic way of increasing voting in democracies, especially India?
Sir, one thing I've seen, the so-called common voter in his wisdom, when he wants to change a government, people vote in big number. 73%, 77%, 79% they vote because they want a change of government. Normally, the fear we all have is the voting percentage increases, government is getting out of power. That's a general thing. But this time, again, the NDA 2 government has proven it wrong. Voting percentage increased because they wanted the same guy to come back as prime minister. So normally, I think people are very clear when to vote, when do they not want to vote. Either I want the same guy or I don't want the guy. So democracy somehow has got a way, sir. Now, forcing people or convincing people to vote, I think a large scale thing I've seen in Bangalore this time where a lot of shopkeepers said, you vote, you come and show me the symbol. I will give you 10% discount on hotel bill. So I know a lot of my friends went and voted because that day night dinner, they're getting 10% discount in a hotel bill. Somebody seeing your finger mark is going to give you a 10% discount. So I think now what has happened, civil society groups have to join strong, sir. This is the era of civil society. The resident welfare associations, Voice of Chennai, organization like yours, you got to make yourself count. You got to put pressure. And even to your maiden driver who faithfully vote, we don't vote. That's a problem. So we get to leave. We all go to holiday destinations like Kodaikanal, Ooty, and Coorg and Chikmagalur. We all keep going. I think the problem is more with the educated people who don't vote, sir. Uneducated people are like very aware. They go and vote because for them, their vote counts. I think the educated people, the main problem is they think that their vote doesn't matter. Because for them, government doesn't matter. I think that has to change. In Corona, you have seen government matters. Even for a rich guy, government matters. Even for a poor guy, government matters. I think Corona, that is the only lesson that has taught us. So good people sitting in the government matters to everybody. So that's the only way, sir. Not to force, but to slowly convince people.
Sir, next question comes from Sendil Kumar. Looking at the future, how to improve revenue collection vis-a-vis Tamil Nadu government? What is the alternative to TASMA? Any futuristic ideas?
Tough question, sir. Very, very, very tough question. Because now, when 4% of India pays tax, 5% of India pays tax, now it is increasing. 95% of people don't pay tax. I'm not saying they are in a position to pay tax. Poor guys, they don't. Probably they come below the ceiling limit, and many of them are tax evaders. One is to improve the tax collection, sir, meaning not the existing guys have to pay, a lot of new guys have to pay tax. Second, we have to cut down our wasteful expenditure, subsidy. Karnataka government last year gave a farm loan waiver of 45,000 crore. If you see who got the farm loan waiver, many people are not farmers who got a farm loan waiver because they only got a farmland. In the name of a farmland, they took a bank loan, it all got waived off. Tamil Nadu also the same problem. People don't do farming, but they get a farm loan waiver. Using technology, somebody is already mentioning Aadhaar and biometrics, all those things, government is already doing it. We got to have a very targeted subsidy. You will be very surprised to know, sir. The current government, using its targeted subsidy, has saved lakhs of crore, 1,60,000 odd crore they have saved by targeted subsidy. That has to come to the state level also, where only the deserving people should get subsidy. Not everybody should get a subsidy because he has got a ration card, he has got an agriculture land in his name. So the only way is to plug the wastage of resources, sir. And also, I think our capital also, if you see, sir, we put so much money because we always have a standard cut, 20% commission, 20% commission. And so why should people take 20% commission? Strengthen the local, strengthen the Lokayukta, strengthen all the anti-corruption watchdog. Let them be very severe. So whatever we spend in the capital expenditure, also 20% goes as commission. Why should 20% go? Let it be 5%. Ideally, it should be 0%. But we will slowly reach there. We got to be practical. We will slowly reach there. So there we got to plug in. So I only see we can't tax the people more. They're already back is broken. So control the expenditure, target the subsidy properly, plug the revenue leakage. I think there you can easily save 20,000 crore. Don't tell me we can't save 20,000 crore. In a budget of 3 lakh crore, can we not save 20,000 crore? That is the taskmark budget. Why should we be so dependent on taskmark? And over the rich guy, you tax the taskmark also more. Why are you giving a quarter bottle for 180 rupees? Let it be 600 rupees. Whoever wants to drink, let him go and drink. Kerala tried for some time. Even Kerala couldn't do it. They went back. Now Bihar is trying. So it's freedom of expression. People who want to drink liquor, let them take, sir. We will not say that you don't drink liquor. Let them go and drink liquor. But we will increase the cost so much, but let them afford to go and drink liquor. Because what happens, illegal liquor will come. All fellows will start brewing. All illegal alcohol, arak. People will drink and die. Tamil Nadu has seen thousands of people dying long time back. We had 30 people dying, 40 people dying at one instant. Bihar, we have seen a lot of people dying. So naturally, alcohol, you cannot stop. You cannot stop alcohol. If somebody wants to drink, he will brew. He'll brew his alcohol. So find a way to make it costly, make it unaffordable. Like what ganja is, you make it unaffordable.
Next question from Thira Anand Raj. Do you think direct canvassing, mass gathering is a thing of the past? And in post-COVID-19 scenario, campaigns are going to change for political parties?
Yes, hit the
bullseye. The way in which they campaign, that is.
Yes, he has hit the bullseye. That is what I was talking to a political person also last week. I think this Tamil Nadu elections 2021, you will not see mass campaigning. You will never see mass campaigning because COVID will still be there. In March, April. Maybe it might be decelerating, but will not be out of the woods. So Tamil Nadu elections, West Bengal elections, the 3 states which are going for elections this time will be a model for the next future elections also. No more mass campaigning, no more cutouts, no more this thing. I see a Tamil Nadu election, not the traditional Tamil Nadu election, big way and colors and all those things. It has to change. It will change. First time I think social media will play a major role. Last election also social media played a major role, but it played mainly a negative role. Where this fellow abusing that fellow abusing this fellow abusing communities. I think 2021 elections, we will see social media playing a major role, but like what Zoom is playing, like what all the WebEx is playing now in a very constructive way. So mass elections are thing of the past. It's nothing, sir. It's nailed already.
Yes. Do you believe in student politics? Can it help in youngsters break into mainstream politics?
Sir, now actually student politics was a very noble politics. Student politics was a very noble politics. If you look at the J.M. Lingdo committee report, J.M. Lingdo committee was set up by the Supreme Court of India to study student politics in India. In the J.M. Lingdo committee report, J.M. Lingdo was our previous election commissioner, very strong guy. So in his report, he says student politics should be banned. Why did he say student politics should be banned? Because the political parties have entered campuses. Normally, the students should enter political parties. It should be a bottom up. The students should come up with the politics. They should be great. They should join politics. Now, what happened? All the student politics have become party-based politics. The big guys have gone in and all. You have seen in JNU also recently what happened. The political parties went in and made a thorough mess up of what is happening inside. All the parties to be blamed. So that kind of student politics is not needed because young minds only, we go and pollute them with our ideologies and all those stuff. I believe student politics is important without a traditional party politics. Let them come out and join political party like how Arun Jaitley came, like how many Congress leaders came, how many BJP leaders came, many DMK leaders came, ADMK leaders came. The last 10 years only, these guys have entered campuses that we will stop, sir. Not nice also.
What would be the 3 to-do principles that you will advise for youngsters to take to politics? For example, you have highlighted money, muscle, and perhaps social origin that play an integral role in enabling elections. But especially youngsters who are keen to make a change, what will be the three to-do principles you will advise to youngsters?
The number one, I would say, topmost is for me, they have to find a way to win, sir. Because every politics will start with winning. Without winning, there is no point talking about politics. And winning means you got to be there in the constituency. You got to be grounded. You got to be visible. You got to be helping people. That is number one. So that is never a substitute. Hard work is never a substitute for sitting in Bangalore or Chennai and trying to be a politician. You got to come back, be in the roots and do it. Number one. Number two, have your principles never compromised, because politics is a very brutal field. What I understand, what I'm seeing for the past 8 months, it's a very brutal field. And the meek will not survive. Only the strong will survive. So these guys have to have their principles intact. They cannot keep shifting their principles. Okay, somebody is giving me a seat, somebody is giving me a seat there. Can I keep shifting my principle? Doesn't happen that way. The principles have to be very ramrod straight. And number three, they got to be there for the long term. Politics is not for 5 years, 10 years. I lost an election, I'll go back. Because you got to keep it as your life. You got to be there for 20 years. You got to be there for 30 years. You got to be a grassroots politician. Three things are: one, grassroots, hard work. Second, principles intact. Don't change it, even if you lose elections. Number three, look at politics as a long-term option, not as a short-term option like a job.
Sir, we had this question on Twitter once we announced this dialogue. A user, Ishwaramurthy M, wants to know, what is the vision of We the Leaders Foundation?
Okay, so if you look at the current trend in Tamil Nadu or in India, sir, it is like, first I'll say in Tamil, தலைவர்கள் வேணும், but தலைவர்கள் வேண்டாம், தொண்டர்கள் தான் வேண்டும் அப்படி. அதாவது எல்லாமே பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, they want to be leaders. Only the leaders want to be leaders. They want to create a second level of system where people should have followers. Only the leaders can survive. So We the Leaders Foundation, the reimagination is, we want to create everybody as leaders. We want to empower everybody as leaders so that more leaders will make the country stronger. So we are into three fields. We are into organic farming, we are into skilling, and we are into creating leaders. So three are very unique field. Organic farming, we are empowering people to go back to the roots and do organic farming. We are trying to set up a process in place. Because of COVID, it got disrupted. We are waiting for the COVID to kind of little bit slow down. We can get to the field work. And second, for the skilling, we have got a base in Karur, a college, where we want to skill all the youth in life skills, in English, in spoken English, communication, because which we think is very important. The 3 years, we want to give opportunity for a lot of people to come to social work, work in the field and emerge as leaders. Maybe contest Panchayat elections, contest MLA elections, and contest MP elections. So these are the 3 things. The main motto in Tamil we call Aram Seiya Virumbu. Keep doing Aram, keep doing righteous things. At the same time, you think like a leader. An auto driver can think like a leader. He should not think like a follower. You think like a follower, it's doomed. That's the thing, sir. Thank you.
This is a very important question from one Ms. Raji. What is the future role of women in politics? How can we move the discussion to 50% and not 33%?
Women, I personally believe, have to play a very important role in Indian politics for a fact, because when the population is 51% women, it cannot be managed by 90% men. It cannot be managed by 90% male MPs. I think the current Lok Sabha has got 8% female MPs and 92% male MPs. Kindly check my data. I read it somewhere. I think it is like that, maybe 1 or 2% here and there. So, but you cannot manage 51% people. So I think women leaders have to naturally emerge. If you look at Panchayat, where we've got a lot of reservation, even after two decades, 1992, we got the 73rd and 74th amendment for Panchayats. So we have reserved certain seats for women. Now what happened? The husbands are still managing those seats. It's a very sad sight. They just keep the woman as a namesake. The women are not really able to fight with their husband and emerge. I think the women leaders have to emerge on their own will. The reservations can help to an extent. It cannot help to a major extent. 33% or 50% can be for 1 or 2 terms. But we cannot be too dependent on reservation, because after a long time, people will lose hold. So I hope and pray this discussion, a lot of women leaders should think, I should go back to my grassroots, contest elections, fight in this male world and come up. So that is the thinking we should do. Rightfully, take their place. No doubt about that, sir. Rightfully, they should take their place.
The last two questions, sir. One, my question is intertwined to what Mr. Sri is asking. You can take them both together. You plan to contest in elections. You take to office. What will be your first two decisions? This is Sri's question. My question is, which is your preferred political ideology and party as on date?
Okay, maybe I'll combine both.
Yes.
I'm a man of 35 and my age is 35. I come with a certain background like you. I did my BE and MBA and 10 years with the government. So with this, I cannot do certain types of politics. I can do only a certain ideology kind of politics. I cannot associate with many people. And I look at a party which values merit, where the right person for the right job should get going up. And of course, you should have a grassroots connect. I look at a party which puts nation first and no compromise on it. And I always believe states come second and my community comes third. That's the way I look at it. So India comes first, no doubt about that. And fourth, I look at a party that is non-tolerant of corruption. Of course, every party is corrupt. Every party has come through a certain way, but the party should have an intention to change in the next 20 years, next 10 years. This is the way I look at it. So this is my ideology. I'm not looking at left. I'm not looking at right. There's nothing called left and right. Many people say the NDA government is a rightist government. But the kind of things they have done for the poor, I don't think no left government has done. Subsidies and gas subsidies, targeted subsidies. So in Indian politics, I think we have lost that nomenclature, that left and right and center is no more there, sir. I think most parties are almost in the same ideology with a major foreign policy difference or a major security difference or a major national difference or a major economic difference, but not per se catering to a base. So almost all of them are kind of converging now. Coming to what I will do, I don't know, sir, because the reason is, I think I should be humble enough to admit, I don't know what that office is all about. And I have run an office in my life for 10 years. I was a police officer for about 3 districts and SPs and DCPs. I ran a certain way. I valued merit. I valued my colleagues' integrity. I valued transparency. I valued people who are selfless. That's the way I ran my office wherever I had the independent charge to be the SPs and DCPs. I think the same culture I will bring. So, but problems might vary. That problem you can always tackle it. But when you build a correct team around you, I think the team will take care. The team will take care. Selfless team and team that is transparent and team that is honest and the team that has got the heart in its right place. We have to empower the team and the team will do the needful, sir. So I am a big believer in creating the team. A single person cannot do anything in India. So whatever I've done in my police, it is all the teams who did it. I never caught a thief. I never shot at a robber. I never did night rounds. It is all my constable colleagues who did the hard work. They went every day relentlessly. They did the night job. My inspectors and sub-inspectors took the risk and the bullet also sometimes to go and do something because we empowered, we stood behind them. As leaders, our job is to empower those guys and stand behind them and be transparent. So that is the way I look at life, sir. So
Thank you.
To say, I don't know. Whatever the office is demanding, we can do it, sir. I'm very confident about it with the right heart.
As they say, the only certainty is uncertainty.
100%. Sir.
So thank you so much, sir. You are an epitome of humility and the way you connected with the audience. I'm sure many youth today who are on this dialogue, watching here, watching on Facebook, and who will watch this once we put it up outside also will want to definitely look at politics as a career. I'm sure you've driven that point across very, very strongly. You have also asked us to look at the past, analyze from the past, look at the present today, and then pave way for a reimagined future. Thank you. I request Srinivasan to thank our speaker and the audience formally. Srini?
Yeah, thank you, Sudarshan. Thanks a lot, Annamalai sir. Sudarshan has already presented a brief summary. It was highly informative and it was highly illuminating for all of us. You're popularly called as the Singham of when you are in service in Karnataka. We have seen the other side of you now, highly data oriented. You gave us a lot of data and facts. So obviously a lot of youngsters today respect people who talk facts and data. You presented the past, the present, and how the future is going to be basis the data that you have had. And I'm sure you've won a lot of supporters here, people who have been in this call, people who have joined through Facebook and other mediums. We wish all the best for your future, sir, which is going to be in politics. And we will all be supportive. Thanks a lot to all the participants who have joined through Zoom, Facebook, and other mediums. Apologies, we have not been able to take all your questions. However, you have posted them, and you can reach out to Annamalai sir through Facebook, Twitter, and you can post these questions also. He might answer. Thanks a lot. See you all soon in the next meeting. Thank you.
Yes. So every Sunday we aim to have this dialogue. We'll be back with someone interesting next Sunday. Thank you all for joining.